Hello again, my 5 at 5ers. Unfortunately, Arsenal 0, Liverpool 2 in the second leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. And I'm gutted. A missed opportunity. But let's get into the 5 things that I noticed from the game. Number 1 is Alexander Lacazette. And look, I don't think many players were at the required level yesterday. And Lacazette was by no means the worst. But in terms of a young side, and you've got an experienced player like Andre Lacazette up top in that really important lone striker position. I looked at his performance yesterday and I thought to myself, do you know what? It simply wasn't good enough. And I don't want to single him out for criticism. This is more about positional or tactical sort of way of looking at things. I love Lacazette. I really like the way he brings other people into the game. I think he's a great influence on young players in the team. But it's games like yesterday that for me bring into focus just how much we need a striker. When I look at Lacazette's position in the game yesterday, it's one of two things. Either Lacazette looked at who he was up against in Virgil van Dijk and thought to myself, I don't fancy it. And he got as far away from him as possible. Way too often, Lacazette was on the flanks instead of being that presence in the middle of the park. And I get that's not that dissimilar to the way Lacazette plays, because often he drops deep, he likes to get involved in the play. But with 4 offensive midfielders in that team, I kind of thought to myself, surely we need a focal point in and around the box. Now, he was unlucky with the free kick. He hit the bar in the second half. He had a chance where he should have hit the target, hit it over the bar. He's not the most clinical striker, which is a far cry from his Lyon days where he really seemed to be quite clinical. But if you're going to play in that role and you're not the most clinical striker, you need to play the law of averages. And when I say that, I mean you need to get 3 chances to convert 1. If you're not going to be that focal point in there, then you're going to get 1 chance. And if you're not clinical, it could be 1 chance, 1 miss. And that costs you in games like this. Now, I've said that perhaps Laka didn't fancy it against VVD. But actually, what I think it might be was a tactical decision from Mikel Arteta. In which case, potentially the shift of blame goes from our striker Lacazette to our manager Mikel Arteta. It almost seemed to me like what he was doing was trying to create a false 9 setup where Lacazette was drifting out of that striker position, maybe in the naive hope of dragging Van Dijk away and leaving Emile Smith-Rowe, for example, who did this on a number of occasions, coming into that space and potentially being somewhat isolated up against Matip, where you'd say, do you know what, that's maybe not a bad way of doing things. Virgil van Dijk, though, far too clever to fall for that. And I saw him on numerous occasions telling Andy Robertson, for example, he's your man now, he's come over to your side, and he wouldn't vacate his position. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Lacazette's performance as a striker, as a lone striker, not just that, as an experienced lone striker in a team of youth. And then also let me know, do you think it was Lacazette taking that decision himself, or do you think it was manager-led and it was a tactical thing? Number 2, and that is the 7-hour Partey. Well, look, Thomas Partey, he's had a tough 48 hours. Got knocked out of AFCON in the group stage with Ghana, who surely will be very, very disappointed at how poor their tournament was. He then gets straight on a aeroplane and comes back to London to play for Arsenal. And after that long flight, 7 hours after he arrives in the country, rumour has it he arrived around midday, there he is getting ready for a game. He's on the bench, of course, but by the time he comes on, look, he's been in the country less than 10 hours. And, well, then the rest wasn't very good either. 15 minutes he was on the pitch, picked up 2 yellows. The second one, you do look at it and you say to yourself, come on, Thomas, what were you thinking? It wasn't a challenge that he had to make. And when you're on a yellow card, you have to be more picky about the challenges that you make. Let's say, for example, that challenge is an area of the pitch where it's either going to be a goal-denying challenge or a goal-creating challenge, then you can understand it. But this is practically on the halfway line. Whether he wins it or loses it, it's not going to make or break any sort of goal threat. So, look, I think Thomas Partey summed it up best. He released a statement after the game, and in that statement he said, I'm responsible for anything that happened and will take all the critiques. I should be more intelligent, not to get in a challenge already booked, but this is my personality. I like to fight for every ball. I love this club and I love my country, and even though sometimes things don't happen how I want, I would continue to work hard and make things right. I came back with the mentality to make myself available for the team to get to the final, but it did not happen as planned. I'll continue to give my all when I'm on the field of play, because this is my life and this is what I chose to do. I'm not happy with all that happened yesterday and at the AFCON, but I understand only with hard work things will change. So I'll continue to work hard to change this. It's time as Arsenal fans to support him. Clearly the right intentions are there, and he could have turned around and said, I'm not ready to play, but he wanted to make himself available because he knows Arsenal are in a tough spot. That deserves some credit. And the first line about how that's his personality and he likes to fight for every ball, he can still do that, but I'm sure he can learn. Just as Patrick Vieira did. He stamped out the red cards. He really struggled with it when he first came to English football, but Thomas Partey, you've got to learn from this. But look, right now, Arsenal fans are with you because, let's face it, you are our best midfielder. Number 3, and look, in the past, I've kind of thought to myself, pitch invaders, you're seeing them a lot more than you used to. And I think that's for a variety of factors. But one of them is that a lot of the time, pitch invaders, they run up to a player will put their arm around them, they'll give them their shirt, they'll tell the stewards to leave them alone. And you kind of think to yourself, it's nice. The players, a lot of the time on social media and that sort of thing, people give those players a bit of credit because it's like, oh, that was nice of them. They showed a bit of a human side. But unfortunately, what it's led to is people doing it non-stop. Yesterday, I saw 5 people in total, and that's just what I saw, either try or succeed in terms of getting on the pitch. One of them ran up to Martin Ødegaard. Another one ran up to Aaron Ramsdale. It's a matter of time before something happens because the players don't react kindly to it. When a pitch invader went up to Martin Ødegaard yesterday after the game, Martin Ødegaard actually seemed to hold him until the stewards got to him. So perhaps the players have had enough now. He didn't try and help him out. He didn't give him his shirt. I think he looked a bit fed up of it. When a pitch invader went up to Aaron Ramsdale, Ramsdale picked the ball up before the idiot could have his moment and kick the ball into the net and get a cheer from the crowd. It seems like, and then Aaron Ramsdale was telling him to get off. It seems like the players are fed up of it as well. Leeds United recently said any pitch invaders, if they're young, because a lot of them are, their parents will get a stadium ban. Now, in light of what's happened, Arsenal have released a statement that basically says there have been a number of people trying to enter the pitch during or after the match is finished. They're reminding people it's a criminal offence, and they're also saying that if you do this, you're going to get a 3-year ban and you'll have your memberships from the club terminated and details will be passed on to the police for further investigation. Arsenal are finally clamping down on this, and do you know what? It's getting boring now, so hopefully see no more of it. Number 4, and that is about Bernd Leno. A lot of you would have noticed that he was not on the bench yesterday. Instead, it was a youth team goalkeeper, Karl Hein. I've never seen him play personally, but I was surprised that Bernd Leno wasn't on the bench. It turns out that apparently there are some rumours that he may be talking about a loan move to Newcastle, which, look, obviously Newcastle are going to be desperate to avoid relegation, so I could see some legs in that, and also some rumours about him returning to Germany. Now, it's a shame that he will leave the club, but I think he is too good to be a number 2, if we're being honest. And also, I don't think that anyone would argue that Ramsdale overall is a better option than him. Ramsdale, brilliant shot stopper, and I think the key difference between the two, like all of you already know what I'm going to say, is distribution. Now, with Bernd Leno, I think he does deserve more respect from this fan base. When he was our number 1 and we were rumoured to be signing Ramsdale, I don't think many people expected Ramsdale to be signed ahead of Leno, and I think we all felt like there were other areas of the team that were more important to strengthen than our goalkeeping area. And that, to me, that tells me that people were largely happy with Bernd Leno. Yeah, he wasn't sort of a league best goalkeeper, but he was a solid choice. And since he's been demoted from that number 1 position as a goalkeeper, we haven't heard anything from him, anything from a family member, his other half, his agent. He's been a consummate professional. And when he's come into the team, I think he's been reliable and done fairly well. So Bernd Leno, no matter what happens, I think he's been a good servant to Arsenal in the time that he's been here, and best of luck in the future. Now, obviously all of us are going to be thinking, well, who's a long-term replacement going to be? And that is an American goalkeeper called Matt Turner. Those are the rumours. I do not know the first thing about him. I have never seen him play. If anyone knows anything about him, put it in the comments below, and let's hope the Arsenal hierarchy get this goalkeeping transfer as well as they got the last goalkeeping transfer in Aaron Ramsdale. I think they deserve a bit of trust and faith from Arsenal fans now, because the business they've done in the last transfer window, looks good so far. And number 5, yesterday at the ground, someone said to me, Mo, I haven't seen you in a long time. Happy New Year. And I thought to myself, it's not a Happy New Year. Arsenal haven't won in 2022. It feels like it's been absolutely ages. Obviously, some very difficult games. Man City, Liverpool twice, that sort of thing. We should have beaten Nottingham Forest, let's face it. But then postponements of other games. Now, we've got Burnley on the weekend. If it doesn't get postponed, this has to be our first win of 2022. Let me know your predictions for that game below, and please tell me we're finally going to get a win. Anyway, this is 5 and 5 done. Hopefully I'll see you the day after the Burnley game. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Take care.